The use of medical products of human origin has improved or saved countless thousands of lives over the years. Continued advancement in this area relies not only on scientific progress, but also on the constant review of current practices, particularly in those cases in which the outcomes were less than ideal. Only by such review can we refine future practice to better use these gifts to provide better results for patients worldwide. The Notify Library is a curated database of published reports that focuses on those rare instances in which adverse events related to the use of medical products of human origin have occurred. It is maintained by the Italian National Transplant Center with the collaboration of the World Health Organization and relies upon experts who volunteer to review and assess the relevant literature. This video will walk through the steps needed to search the Notify database for specific items. It will focus on the malignancy section, although many of the actions can be applied to other sections of the database as well. The homepage of the Notify Library is available at www.notifylibrary.org. It is free to use and no registration is required. To begin your search, we will use the Search Library button. If you hover your pointer over this button, you will see several choices. The main search, and the one we are interested in, is the Adverse Occurrence search. You can scroll down to this or simply press the Search Library button, since this is the default search that will appear in a new window. Here you see the main search page. There are two main topics to search. These cover the type of adverse occurrence and the specific medical product of human origin used. You can select one choice or multiple choices. If you look on the right side, you see the triangle that indicates that this opens up to reveal additional, more specific choices. If, for example, we open harm to a recipient, then we have choices of infection, malignancy, and so forth. For this demonstration, we'll select the malignancy category. If we open this further, we can see different categories of malignancy. Finally, if we continue to expand this, using blood and lymphoid as an example, we come to specific cancer types. Similarly, if we open central nervous system, we see individual tumor types. Now, a few words of explanation. As you are likely aware, the central nervous system has many more tumor types than this. Only tumor types that have been reported to be transmitted will be shown here. If you do not see the tumor type that you are interested in, it has either not been reported as a tumor transmission, it may exist as a transmitted tumor but is not yet included in the library, or it is so rare that it is listed under the Other or Type Not Specified category. This is not only the case for central nervous system tumors, but is true across all tumor categories. Secondly, you can select one item or more than one item. If you select the heading item, in this case, central nervous system, the search will return all of the sub-items in that category. It is the same as checking off each item individually. You may not appreciate it because when you click it, the underlying boxes do not fill in automatically. Nevertheless, they are selected, and you can test this yourself. For our initial search, we will select kidney and urinary tract, which will include angiomyolipomas, renal cell carcinomas, urothelial cell carcinomas, and other records for which the renal tumor type is rare or not further specified. We can take a similar approach with the medical products listing. In the case of tumor transmission, most, but by no means all of the transmissions occur in the setting of organ transplantation, so we will start with that. You can select any or all organs here as well, and there are drop-down boxes for the combined and composite forms of transplants. For the moment, we will simply select liver to restrict the search to liver transplant recipients. And also for now, we will ignore the keywords free text and record ID fields. These will be the subject of a second video. At the bottom of the page, press the search button. There are also several other options, which we will address shortly. The search page shows us the results. At the top, you can see the number of records recovered, in this case 6. The criteria we used for the search are shown next, followed by boxes containing the individual records. The columns here show the record ID number, the information of the record itself under adverse occurrence, and the published reference or references that represent the source of the record. The first column contains the Notify Record ID, which is a unique number assigned to each case, generally reflecting the order in which it has been uploaded. The second column contains the information of the record itself. The original view shows a shortened version of the record, and if you click on it, you can expand it, as we see when we click on the first record. The information is broken into fields. The adverse occurrence description is the title of the record. Here we specify what type of paper it is: a case report, registry series, subject review, and so forth. This is followed by a short version of the title of the published paper, and finally by the year of publication, to allow the user to quickly separate recent from older literature. The adverse occurrence type and MPHO type in this case will simply reflect the search criteria that we used. The time to detection contains the time interval after transplant at which the tumor was first detected. Notice that in this record, there is no time to detection given. That is because this particular paper was an early report of a donor with a small renal carcinoma who had the contralateral kidney and the liver transplanted into 2 recipients. Neither of these recipients developed tumor after transplant. It is important to be aware of these cases, as well as those that transmit tumor, so we can assess the actual risk more accurately. For the same reason, the alerting signs and symptoms of recurrence field is also not applicable here. Next is the estimated frequency field. Of course, these are all rare occurrences, so it wouldn't be particularly useful to simply state that for every record. What we have done instead is to include the most recent Council of Europe recommendations that address the current understanding of the risk of tumor transmission in regard to circumstances that are associated with minimal, intermediate, or high transmission risk. Some more recent registry reports do attempt to estimate the actual percentage risk of transmission, and in such cases, we include those figures here as well. For reports that do demonstrate tumor transmission, we answer the question of how the authors tried to prove that it was of donor origin. Again, in this example, that is not relevant. We further give a grade of imputability that it was of donor origin. Most of these we consider to be proven, but occasionally we will assign a grade of possible, probable, or excluded. The last field allows us to briefly summarize the paper or give our opinion regarding any significant points made in the paper. Here the comment is brief, noting that this was an early report supporting a low risk of transmission for small renal cell carcinomas in which other organs are transplanted. The fields are followed by a list of keywords attached to the record. We will deal with keywords in a separate video. The final column contains a link to the reference. If we click on this, we see a pop-up window that contains the citation. You can click on the title to open a new page that gives more information about the reference, including the abstract if available, as well as the Digital Object Identifier, or DOI, that will link you to a relevant web page in either PubMed or the publisher's site. Let's select another record in which there was an actual tumor transmission. In this case, a urothelial carcinoma arose in the recipient after liver transplant. It was detected at 14 months post-transplant and was associated with fever and liver enzyme abnormalities. It was considered to be of proven donor origin, and the comments in this example go into a bit of detail as to how that conclusion was reached, as well as the patient outcome. There are a few more options in the search button area. To some extent, these have some redundancy. Clicking on either Reset or New Search will clear the current search and open a new search page. You can save the records in Excel format as well. You can select one or more records or click on the uppermost box to select all items. Then press the Save XLS Selected Items button to download the results. If you simply want to save the entire search, a shortcut is to press the Save XLS All Items button. In this case, you do not even have to check off any of the record boxes. Finally, the Print or Save Selected Items button will save the selected results in PDF format. We can select a few records to see what this does. I'll click on the first 2 records. Here, you see that a PDF is made and has been saved to my computer. We'll open this up and you can see the format in which each record is saved. This has been a brief introduction to searching for malignancy records in the Notify library. Additional videos will detail further search capabilities of the site. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can email the Notify library directly by using the Contact Us button at the top of the page. If you are aware of any reports that are not in the library but that you feel should be included, please let us know. On behalf of all of us involved with the Notify project, thank you for your attention, and thank you for your interest in the Notify library.